there listening to me. Let's begin today's content. So, we will be doing a quick recap of local search. Uh, we'll talk about the greedy implementation of hill climbing algorithm, which is having nature of steepest ascent first. Then we deal with the issues that this particular algorithm faces, and we will try to find out some alternative implementations of this algorithm which will make it reach the global maxima or minima, whatever it is seeking uh, for its solution. So let us quickly recap what do you mean by local search algorithms and how they are related to the optimization problems. Okay, so we have seen search algorithms in informed and uninformed search categories, and these local search algorithms are a bit aloof from these two categories. They are having their own way of uh, doing the search for the goal thing that the search algorithms are doing. So the things which I have highlighted, they clearly state that the search algorithms that we have seen so far, they explore search space in a systematic manner, and that systematic manner is defined into their algorithmic steps by achieving notion of remembering certain paths in the memory. So the nodes that we keep in open list, they are nothing but uh, way of remembering path from initial state going towards the goal node. And whenever we reach the goal node, these algorithms, the informed search algorithm and uninformed search algorithm that we have seen so far, they actually give you as a solution a path to goal node starting at the initial state, depending on what they are remembering in their open or closed list. Now, there are certain problems, and we will see what those problems are, in which this solution path, that is the path from initial state to goal state, is not important, but reaching the desired configuration or desired state of the problem is what is more relevant. So how much steps you take to reach the goal node or how you reach the goal node, if that's not the important criteria of success for an problem or problem solving agent, then we may choose search algorithms which just give you the presence or absence of the goal, or rather they give you the goal itself. Okay, so for the instance, if we look at the 8 queens problem, so in general you might have known there is a problem called as n queens problem. What this generalized n queens problem says, we need to organize n queens, that is chess queens, on a n cross n chessboard such that no two of the n queens attack each other. We know that the queens on a chessboard, they attack in diagonal, horizontal, as well as vertical directions. So if I place a queen in this cell, it can attack any queen vertically aligned in this column, lying on horizontally in the column, or diagonally in this particular direction. So in we need to make an organization of the board which is having n cross n number of cells. On this board I need to place n queens, one queen in one column, obviously, because there are n columns, so n queens will be lying on n columns. Similarly, they will be lying on n rows. Okay, and important thing that we need to follow as a constraint is that no two queens should be able to attack each other. Okay, so there could be one single such configuration or more than one such configuration possible for a queen placement problem. Now this queen placement problem, we have many different kinds of instances. I can have a 4 queen problem, whereas the board is now 4 cross 4 and I want to organize or arrange 4 queens on the board. Or I may have an 8 queens instance where I have 8 cross 8 queens to be placed on a 8 cross 8 grid, whereas no two queens attack each other. Now, this is the definition of the problem. As intelligent being, we can understand that this 8 queens problem, we are not interested in how many steps we take in order that we place all the 8 quins in their proper location so that they don't hit each other. We are more interested in getting to that particular configuration. That's more important. So similarly, if I have a Rubik cube, then having a configuration of the Rubik cube where each sides, there are, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides to the Rubik cube. All 6 sides, 6 or 8. How many sides are there for a Rubik cube? Two. Yes. So there are 6 sides to the Rubik cube. So all 6 sides should have 9 cells which are same colored. And this is how we want to have that Rubik cube as. So there also we are more interested in going to that particular configuration. Still, you might feel that if you are doing a competitive Rubik cube solving competition, you might be then interested there in whether you reach to that particular configuration in earliest time. You might take more or less number of steps, but you need to do them very quickly so that in timed manner you reach to the desired configuration. But for time being, we keep that particular problem also as a separate discussion. The more important here is that in these problems which are mentioned here in this square bracket, which are realistic problem or realistic usage of local search algorithm, which are like placing elements inside an integrated circuit. You know that integrated circuit houses many of the small gates, logic gates and logic circuits, and say some sort of diodes, transistors, etc., into a very small area. So I want to actually have a layout of the integrated circuit such that certain number of components, certain number of transistors, certain number of gates, certain number of diodes to be housed within that particular smaller area. If this is a kind of problem which requires optimization of the utilization of the space that is provided to me. Similarly, I can have a factory layout design problem where I have certain equipments to be organized into a layout, floor layout of a factory, so that I can produce maximum output based on the production line organization. How I organize the production line. There's minimum delay between the tasks and such a way that it should be having ergonomically proper arrangement of things. So all those things are there in factory layout problem. Then we can have job shop scheduling. Job shop scheduling is done on many cloud servers where are jobs generated, and there has to be a scheduling of those jobs on the computing unit of that cloud. Maybe that is also done. Very simple example of job shop scheduling could be something like your operating system scheduler, or maybe something like a web server scheduling the requests that are approaching to it based on the merit. So then automatic programming, telecommunication, network optimization. I want to optimize the network such that it should cover the maximum amount of physical or geographical area with minimum or constrained number of antennas as well as the equipments, so that the cost should get minimized and the area that is covered should be maximized. So all these problems, if you look them closely, you will come to know that in these problems there are certain constraints put, and there are certain objectives that you need to achieve, and those objectives are generally could be easily defined in terms of either a cost or a benefit, and you want to maximize the benefit or you want to minimize the cost. So you can represent or use optimization representation like linear programming, or maybe something like an optimization problem that we generally use many a times if we are using neural networks or uh, something like, say, not necessarily neural network, something like a linear programming problem. Basically, linear programming is used to solve optimization problems traditionally, and then people actually started using different computational models to solve optimization problem, and came the neural network, which also tries to solve the optimization problems in its own way of representation. Now we won't be talking about neural networks or the optimization problems. What we are going to talk about is how a local search algorithm approaches these optimization problems. So in its own way, a local search algorithm tries to solve the optimization problem. So ultimately optimization problem में क्या करना होता है? There is a objective function that you need to either minimize or maximize, and this is how the optimization problem looks at the problem. So optimization problem always looks at the problem given for it to solve in terms of objective function. This objective function is defined in relation to certain constraint equations or constraint variables. So I may have constraint variables. These variables may relate to each other in terms of some sort of constraint equations, and using these constraint variables and equations, I will be defining some function which will be the function which I'm trying to either maximize or minimize. Now, if you look at this particular problem, it is clear that from the wording of the things, that we are going to look for the maximization here. And if I see this particular solid line represents the evaluated value of states in the state space, अगर आप horizontal axis देखोगे तो these are nothing but current states, and we have represented the objective function. It's like a single dimension representation of objective function, which may not be the case. I may have objective function with two variables, then it will be a binary function. So there will be always two variables v1 and v2 for which I'll have two values, and this particular simplistic looking objective function value would be now two dimensional. If I have n such variables, it will be an n dimensional space in which this particular diagram will be represented. For this simplistic diagram, what we have assumed is objective function is nothing but a singular value, and there are no constituent variables which I need to optimize. I just need to optimize the value of the objective function. And the optimization problem at hand is maximization problem. So I want to maximize the value of objective function. If, say, suppose somebody gives you this particular diagram, which is nicely plotted, and as a human being, I can observe and I can say that, okay, so this particular point, the objective function value, sorry, a straight line. So if I put a perpendicular here to the state axis and a perpendicular to the objective function axis, I can always say that this particular point, so I need to use a, so this particular point represents the maximum value of objective function for this given problem, and this particular point represents the state of the environment for which this maximum value is achieved, and it is also termed as global maximum. But you can see always at different locations this particular location, and in this particular locality the objective function value does not alter. Again, this particular locality, the objective function value does not alter. This particular single point objective function value is greatest amongst its neighbors, is the greatest value amongst its neighboring states. So if this diagram is representing two neighboring states are plotted on this graph side by side, then any neighboring state to this particular state, say suppose this, say suppose this state or this state, which are neighboring to the middle state, okay, they both have objective function value which is definitely smaller than the objective function value of the state that is being called as local maximum. So this particular state is referred to generally as local maximum. Similarly, this set of states are also local maximum in that particular locality.